Welcome to the To Be Human podcast, episode 18 on nature versus nurture. So now I'll try to go more in depth on nature versus nurture. Like, if we go off nature, how we nurtured, and I think it's definitely like nurtured, like especially once we get older, because if we have a bad life and terrible stuff happens, well then we'll become potentially bad people. Not always necessarily. Like obviously there are exceptions, but yeah, nature versus nurture is, the core concept of, is it like biology and all that, our morality and ethics that will define us, or the way we're raised. And I definitely say it's by how we're raised, not that nature can't always, I guess, return, because even though I may not seem it, there may still be a kind part of you, unless that part of your brain literally doesn't function, like it literally can't function, like literally having like a broken brain, or the connections aren't there. There's always going to be a small bit of morality in everyone. So yeah, so it's only in a very rare few that they wouldn't feel anything, wouldn't, I guess, be moral. So yeah, so it would make it hard for them to have any humanity. It'd be hardest for them to be human. Like the very name of this podcast, the very reason why I called it To Be Human, because I want to try and improve morality and stuff and all that, hopefully across the world. The world's a big goal, but sometimes you gotta dream, otherwise nothing can be achieved. But yeah, yeah, I want people to be helped. So when you literally can't help them, it's kind of painful, when you literally can't do anything, despite how hard you may try and want things to change, that their fate has already been sealed by bull chances, things that they never got to choose for themselves. They didn't get to make the choice. And making choices is such an important part of life. I'm mad that I can't really choose, if I die or not. That choice is completely, not up to me. It's, all down to my body. So yeah, there's things I can do to, make certain I stay healthy and I guess happy as long as possible. But nonetheless, I'll fall to death because my face is sealed. So yeah, not being able to have choice and not having control can suck, which makes it really hard when you want to help someone and save them. So yeah, and I want to try and help as many people as I can, but it's basically literal impossible task to do everyone because there'll always be some roadblocks that have yet to be overcome, and until those roadblocks are out of the way, by the improvement of science and stuff and further understanding of things like the human brain, there's no way to fully achieve the goal, only to try and get as close as possible. So yeah, it's I guess in my sort of nature to try and help to, and it's also a part of how I was nurtured. So yeah, I want to try and help, but it's not always easy. Nothing is ever simple, but sometimes you just gotta be the one that tries, no matter what. No matter the hurdles, you just gotta try. So, if I can't break those barriers yet, I'll start with the simplest stuff first, and hopefully by then, hopefully the barriers will have moved further along. So that means I can do the stuff that I wasn't able to do when I had begun things. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta chip away at things a little bit by little bit. It's very much the Doctor in Heaven Sent, where he slowly chips away at the war over billions of years. So, yeah, the Doctor has, to overcome all the challenges, even if it takes 1 billion years, like 4.5 billion years is what the lady said, I believe. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta endure. But yeah, nature versus nurture is definitely interesting. Though, I would say nurture is, how it would dictate, but eventually the nurturing almost becomes our nature. If we're taught to be kind by nurturing, it turns into our nature. It's who we are. But what happens if something bad happens? Something that goes way beyond our nature? Would we become worse people in a scenario that's horrible, like Fallout, for example? Would we change from, kind people to cruel, malice people that only are selfish instead of selfless? Like, obviously there's already people that are selfish, and I really wish there was less selfish people. I can understand, selfishness to an extent. Like, you know, I want things, so I want to have these things. So I'm gonna, look out for myself first because I want the thing. So, sorry, other people, I'm going to get the thing because first in, best dressed. Like, I can kind of understand. Like, not everyone needs to be perfect. Like, you don't have to be absolutely selfless. But for those who are, selfish like all the time, you could be a little bit more selfless. So you could try and help others and try and think of others and just be kind. Like, sure, I'm not perfect, but at least I try to be better and do better. Like, so yeah, I'm trying to be selfless. I mean, that's, again, part of the reason why I created the podcast, to try and help, even if it's just a small message, like every now and then. It's, something that can hopefully stick with you and help improve. Like, small bits of encouragement over time, all that positivity would, change a person for the better. I mean, again, Doctor Who example, look at the Master, like, they were, one of the most evil people, like, reveled in destruction and chaos, but after being like in the cage, like in the vault thing for like decades, being watched over by the Doctor, and the Doctor speaking with them over the a long time. Like, they began to actually change for the better, only to end up like, after changing, like, Missy would be shot by the Master, and everything that she learned was undone by herself. Like, come on. And I guess Chris Chibnall, but again, Chris Chibnall did not do a lot of things right. At least one thing they did right was that the Master was, that their old self, like, even though I wish it was the good Master, not the evil one, like, more evil self of them, like, but, it's, I guess it is what it is. At least the Master was one of the best things that Chris did. But another thing Chris got right was understanding that the Doctor might not be ready for a relationship, especially after losing River Song. Like, so even though the Doctor is, probably like bisexual, both date and agender, probably, um, um, they wouldn't date Yaz because, like, it was just too soon. But now in the most recent episode, like, even though Rogue was the one that, you know, kissed the Doctor, it's still like, yo, Doctor, you had a wife, you had River Song, you had River Song as your wife, and you literally wouldn't date Yaz because of it. Now it's like, it makes no sense why you're sort of accidentally got married again. I know it's kind of in the character, but it's like, and like heat of the moment, but still it's like, like, Doctor, you I know you'll probably get married again at some point, but yeah, you're still like 2, 3, wait, math, 15th, 13th, 2 incarnations. It hasn't been that long since 13. Technically 3, actually, because 12th Doctor was through the end of River, so 3. But yeah. Anyway, I'm getting distracted on a tangent about Doctor Who when this is about nature versus nurture. And like, it's just a little bit strange. I went on a tangent from what I was supposed to be talking about. And don't mind the empty chair. That's usually where Sky would be, but Sky isn't always, in every episode of the podcast. So yeah. So yeah, usually it's just me. It's just me. But yeah, I'm talking about Doctor Who currently from my tangent from like nature versus nurture, because I've already lost my train of thought, like how I got to talking about Doctor Who. I lose my train of thought a lot, and I am okay. I'm just, I guess, rambling and I guess yapping a lot. And I'm not having a conversation with the soda can. That would be very funny though. Sentient soda cans. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't done that, seeing that sort of a Gmod thing. Oh yeah, and for those watching later, yeah, again, I record these in Gmod. but yeah, again, I just overlay the To Be Human podcast thumbnail over the whole thing. But yeah, anyway, but I'll finish my brief tangent on Doctor Who. But yeah, it's just a bit weird that, like, in like the span of one episode, Rogue and the Doctor already sort of get married. I mean, it's happened before plenty of times with the Doctor, but it's just a bit strange. And I guess so suddenly, like, it hasn't been too long from River Song. Not that the Doctor can't move on, it's a bit odd. That's, you know, all I can say. It's a bit odd, it's a bit fast, but then again, it's probably been like, uh, hundreds of years for the Doctor, so, because he's always getting older, like, all the time, so, yeah, so, for the Doctor has been probably technically a long time, but yeah, but anyway, back to the main topic, nature versus nurture. Um, yeah, so yeah, but I do believe nurture becomes your nature within time. Yeah, again, what's to stop it from changing in a bad situation like Fallout? Alright, I was going to talk about Fallout. How did I get to Doctor Who from Fallout? I don't remember. But yeah, can we stay a good person? Like, oh yeah, because I was talking about the Master and like how they changed to better through positive reinforcement. Yeah. Now I remember. Shame about the Master. Oh yeah, no, giving Chris Chibnall like one compliment despite all the other bad stuff. Terrible directions. Now I remember how I got here. Now we're full circle. But anyway, yeah. Back to what I was going to talk about. Is how can we ensure, we stay as good if we were good in a really bad situation. There's no, I guess, guarantees, because if everything gets torn around you, all that sense of safety and all that, what is there but, what surrounds you? Like, but, all the violence and all that. So yeah, if the world gets destroyed, it only makes sense that the kind people get torn down with it. So yeah, so unless that sense of safety stays, there's no way to keep in such a barren, hostile place, because it's just not exactly feasible. So, yeah. And until, like, everyone agrees, which never seems to happen. Like, no one will agree, and that means it'll be a endless like endless violence, and you know, everyone will just be senseless, and it'll just continue until you really, drill into the heads of everyone that, violence doesn't solve anything, and everyone should be accepting of everyone. Like, no one is different to you, yet everyone is different at the same time. Like, we've all got, unique personalities. By our cores, we're still human. Like, we're still people. So, yeah. Unless you're a secret alien or something, but I don't think there's aliens on Earth currently. And, yeah, wherever aliens are, they're probably not needing to deal with our shenanigans. Although I feel like any alien species would probably be like humans. It's just a theory that I've made, but I suspect that aliens would probably be no different to us. Like core, I feel like core fundamental principles of things would still happen within alien species, like, the sense of good, evil, morality, whether that they're called those things or not, most likely not by, an alien species, because they'll probably have some other language or something. But still, I feel like core principles would be shared. So, any aliens probably just be as screwed as we are. Like, they probably have the same problems that we do, honestly. We always like to think aliens would probably be, higher life forms, have cool spacecraft and all that. But realistically, I feel like they're the same as us and stuck in the same position as us if they do exist anywhere else. Like, that they're just as dumb as we are, and we're both struggling with our own planet's like issues from probably long periods of wars and all that, and prejudices and all that. So yeah, I feel like their natures and the way they were nurtured would be similar to our natures and how we were nurtured. Like, I feel like it'd be parallel. Obviously not probably, the exact same, but I feel like the core beats would be repeated. Like, so yeah. I feel like there would be similar enough things. So yeah. It's almost like the aliens would be like a alternate timeline without being an alternate timeline. So yeah. But anyway, that's just, my theory on how aliens would function as a society. So yeah, this isn't a To Be Alien podcast. To be an alien, first you must... Do I need to repeat myself? That's a reference to half reference to Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. And oh yeah, I guess what would be the nature of an AI? Like, because AI aren't really defined because it's something created by us, so what would their nature be? We've obviously already seen how nurturing goes. It often turns the AIs into, you know, very like vicious and vulgar things in most cases of actual prop AI so far. Um, but what would the nature of an AI be? Because they're literally, I guess, the opposite of, I guess, nature. Because nature implies, biology, cells, all that, where they're machine and circuits and bunch of mechanical stuff made by man, and their code is by man, and basically their whole existence is thanks to humanity. So yeah, I wonder what that nature would be. It's a very interesting thing to think about. So yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something to think about. But yeah. But I guess that's the podcast on nature versus nurture. We can have different natures, different ways we'd be nurtured. There's a lot that can define us and who we are. So it's, sometimes going to take away our choices, but hopefully we can maintain choice and control, and yeah, like, yeah, but I choose to try and be selfless rather than selfish, and sure, I'm not perfect, but I want to try and help. So yeah, I will continue to try and help. So yeah, even if the world doesn't see it, yeah, and yeah, and you don't always have to try and live up to someone else's expectations and all that, and yeah, but sometimes I feel like I kind of have to, but sometimes you just gotta be you, and yeah, and expectations would be a good episode to do at some point. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this podcast episode. So yeah, peace, thank you, and goodbye until the next one.